Which flour is the best when it comes to making a pound cake? Let's have that discussion here. So to understand this, you need to know a little bit of science. Every flour has what's called a protein content. So what that means is the higher the protein content is that's in the flour, the more gluten formation that it's going to create, the more gluten it's going to create basically. So for your things like sandwich bread and hoagie rolls and, things, breadier type of things, that's what you would use that type of flour for. So that's like bread flour. Bread flour goes past, a 12.8% protein content. While the lower protein content flours like your all-purpose flour and cake flours are ideal for, your cakes and your pastries and stuff like that, that's what that is used for. So 99.9% of the time I'm using white lily all-purpose flour when it comes to my pound cakes. Pound cakes to me are dense but still soft and light. So to get that balance, you have to use a white lily all-purpose flour, which has a 9% content. And I don't want it as soft as something as a red velvet cake, which is something you would use cake flour for. Cake flour has a 6 to 7% protein content. So this is 9%. So this is somewhere between a cake flour and a higher end all-purpose flour. The only time you will see me use Swan cake flour or cake flour in general is for a red velvet cake. It's needed in a red velvet cake. There is no other substitution. You cannot use all-purpose flour for a red velvet cake. I don't care how many videos y'all make about it. To have that classic southern, texture that goes into a red velvet cake, the one that melts in your mouth, you have to use cake flour. Also, with caramel cake, I use cake flour as well because for the same reason. And then I also in the recipe that's been getting all the buzz is just, I call it Cake Gate. I use cake flour in that, and the reason I use the cake flour in their particular recipe is because when I created the recipe, it was supposed to be a 5-minute pound cake recipe, which means you dump everything in one bowl. So in order to create a traditional pound cake, you have to cream the butter and sugar for 5 to 7 minutes to create that light, fluffy texture, and you have to add in your eggs one at a time to create that rise, and as far as that lift in your pound cake. I didn't have time to do all of that in this pound cake recipe that I created. The 5-minute pound cake recipe is pinned to the top of my profile, by the way. I had to use cake flour because I wasn't going to be able to do those two things that I just mentioned in order to create that texture. So if I would have used something like a white lily all-purpose flour in that cake recipe, it would have tasted more bready, and that's not what we're looking for. Using cake flour in that recipe gave me the perfect 5-minute pound cake that anybody can do, that's super easy, that don't have to follow that traditional pound cake recipe route, which is creaming your butter and sugar together and then adding in, your eggs one at a time and then going on with the recipe. So that is the reason why I use cake flour in that particular recipe that Mr. Shamtime, used to do that pound cake contest. So in all of my other regular recipes, you will see me always use white lily all-purpose flour. So, that's the explanation for that. So yeah, if you guys want me to do an example of using each one of those flours in a pound cake, put it in the comment section below. I'll do that video for you guys. But yeah, I hope this helps you guys make better, baked goods, pastries, bread, all that. Peace out.